more interesting, there's a lot of customization your people can do. Can you explain that?
Sure. On the Sylvan one-to-one site, we don't have integration yet. So I mentioned before that we were really overhauling all of our technology, and we're not quite there yet. So where we are right now is having a solution and a system that, without integration, allows centers to really hype up the personalization as it's coming right from them, and the customization to their target that they're looking at. So, you know, if they're pursuing folks who contacted them, raised their hand, but haven't have a conversation yet with, if they're pursuing people who booked an appointment but didn't show up. At our center levels, that could be 50 people, that could be, you know, 75, it could be 10 in a month. So that list is very, very small, and with the solution, they can create individual, really personalized and customized messaging within the construct of a template using really easy tools. So that piece has been, for all of the users that we have had go on the portal, you know, we've gotten great feedback in terms of, with this type of solution, it's comfortable and familiar, and they can create those individual messages that they want to.
I know Frederick does a lot of testing, and I know you've picked it up, and he'll speak more to it. He can test really affordably by doing small markets, by small market testing and small terms of volume testing with mail. You have a lot of messages on your customization drop-downs. Is that because you tested the messages?
Yeah, we have, we have tested some, and honestly, some come from our brand research and from other types of research that we do to set up our messaging that we use in a variety of channels. And so we post those so that folks, when they want to integrate, like pick up some messaging from the TV spots or from radio or from something else, they can easily know what that messaging is, and they can feel confident that if it's there, it's been validated in a way so that they, you know, don't feel like they have to go make something up and be their own creative director. Okay.
So, and there's people in the audience that know this better than I do. One is Brett Benton over here. He's a master at this. The whole world of personalization. You know, believe what you want. There are levels of it. You know, there's a market. 40% of the market still does it at the single attribute level, personal salutation. 40% is moving imagery around and moving logos and moving photos around with some content. This whole world of trans promo ads or billing, getting your American Express bill with correlated ads against your purchase behavior. And then we're in the world now, we're seeing a little bit of it, and we're starting to get traction with agencies that are really into this world of dynamic swap out. And I don't know if, Brett, you want to share what you guys do, but you're tremendous. Dynamic swap out is an example of pretty well everything is swapped out. Everything's a PDF block, your images are swapped out, your content's swapped out. And it's like the report card you had mentioned, Frederick, that you can literally take this down to one-to-one level. One-to-one marketing, does that make sense to you guys, or are you moving in a different direction?
No, we several years ago, I think we were sort of below 1. We were like maybe -1. And we have moved forward tremendously. And I think that we're, you know, we've passed 2. And we are on the cusp of leaping to 4 with our new solutions that we're putting in place. So our goal, we have a dispersed system. We have a system that relies on being able to build relationships with families. And so our goal with our new solution is to support them with a backbone of communication that provides automatically very individualized supporting communications across a number of channels. So we're definitively moving. We'd like to be at 6.
I don't know,
in about 5 years so that I can maintain employment.
Yeah. 4 is hard. A lot of data that goes back and forth. It's complex, but maybe you can speak later about it, Brett, or answer. You can ask us a question. But 4 is really where the response rates are, and it's the wow factor. Jeff talked about someone picking something. You picked something up in the mail the other day regarding the skiing, and it was personalized to you and your family, and you went, wow, this is pretty awesome. So that world is changing there. Just an example, those reports, We happen to do work for a testing agency that does, in any given month, about 600,000 of these reports. Each one is unique. Each one is unique. Each student gets a different state score. The graphs are different. The PDF block text is different. The administrator gets one. His parents get one. The teacher get one. And this is the world of full dynamic content swap out. So in terms of mail or print, who thought that was possible? I mean, it's changing. So this is the world we're in. We're not into the world of kind of mass static anymore. We're really into this report card is going to speak to you individually. So that's a cool world. One thing, you guys, I've always loved your approach. You have this, what I call customer lifecycle approach, and that's your term. You've got triggers that you use to drive a lot of your marketing. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So on a high level, I can say that the communications that we're moving towards, that we're seeking to produce, we want to be able to support our brand, optimize the brand, and enhance the service experience through better communications. That's that whole relationship gig. I invented my own title, so therefore I am Director of Relationship Marketing. So from a basic level, though, we have a lot of known triggers that we need to use to get some communications out there. We are in the tutoring business, supplemental education. Report cards demonstrate a need for support for a family, for a child. Huge trigger for us. End of year, school year, beginning of school year. There's lots of things out there. And, those are basics that we're keeping in mind. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. What we're trying to do is go about facilitating the car rolling down the street in a whole different way so that the franchisee doesn't have to be out building the motor and pushing the car and making the gas. He can just drive the car.
But you know what, though? You're different than a lot of our clients. You don't do solo acts of marketing. Everything you do is a campaign. How have you figured that out? Why is that so important to you that you're so campaign-based?
I think that too many messages that are disjointed don't make sense. And I think that, that's something that plays out for us. We are a brand. We are the brand in our category, and that's important to keep that in mind. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of what goes on in our group is, sad to say, based on all my education, but very logic-based. And it doesn't take long to see that when you have completely uncoordinated bits and bytes flying around, that it doesn't really add up to a lot of effectiveness.
Tom, I hope you show it tomorrow. Tom's got a great model on this whole marketing mix that hopefully you'll embed in your presentation. Triggers. Now here's what we're moving to. We're not the best at it. Believe me, we're a small little company trying to move forward. There's some triggers that we're doing and moving towards. The obvious ones are reactive or abandoned shopping carts, first-time buyers, anniversaries. Dell's had a lot of success with did you forget pieces that have gone out, rate and review pieces. They claim their fame on being able to touch people at the right time, and Dell's marketing team is moving a lot of their marketing, consumer-based marketing and small business marketing is around triggers these days. There's an interesting quote by Bank of America at a recent conference I was at that event-based triggers are 3.5x more effective than any broadcast email they would send out. So interesting. I think triggers we're going to start getting into more and more triggers. Our clients are asking for database triggers. It's probably the way to go.
We have, in addition to the triggers that we know and that have been long-standing parts of our business, for our new solution, we have built and are using a state model, a customer state model, as sort of the bedrock. And so the state model allows us to see where folks are in the sales cycle, where they are in their in-center experience, and then where they are post-center experience. And so we overlay triggers across the state model in order to improve initial conversion, the center experience, upsell and cross-sell, referrals, and lifetime value.
Are you measuring all that now? Or are you putting in the systems to measure it, or is it still to come?
It is on